Hello and welcome to our second live streamed awareness through movement lesson today on this channel. I'm Angela McMillan. I'm the host and the founder of the Movement Online Academy. We are here today with Liz, who's going to take us through a sitting lesson again. We had one earlier today, Liz, which was lovely.
Great.
As we said on the first lesson, sitting is the new smoking. So by doing these lessons, we can break that pattern of slouching and contracting and getting those sore lower backs at the end of the day because we're at the computer. Before I introduce Liz, let me take you on a little tour of what the Movement Online Academy is. Consider this space like your somatics social media platform without the distractions of advertising. So when you first join, head over to the conversations and events, which is a few down on the left-hand menu bar here. And you can see here that we are live. So when we do these live lessons on YouTube, I post them as events in the community. So they're easy to navigate to find the link to join us. And so when we're live, it displays that we're live. This is the discussion thread and where the events are. And you can see that Joanna posted earlier because she did the lesson earlier and then she was going to go straight to teach it in French on her platform. So she's shared there. So if you want to hear it in French, underneath is the replays. So this is a dedicated space to the replays that you have access to. At the moment, we have the replays from the panels last week, What Really is Somatics, which Liz was on one of those panels, panel 3. And we do have the What is Neuroplasticity with Dr. Susan Hillier, which is the opening keynote from last year's festival. So if you want access to more replays, we've got the Members Hub, which has the replays from all of the content myself and the team have created over the last 5 years. So we've got the fireside chats, we've got 20-minute movement lessons, we've got the Let's Get Real festival from last year, and we had 2 previous festivals as well. So lots of content to dive into. But now let me introduce this lovely human being that's sharing the stage today and teaching the lesson. You know those times when life is going great, yet you're holding your breath and waiting for something terrible to happen? I feel like that's me at the moment. Well, what if the way through this state isn't just therapy, medicine, or to get over it, but to actually develop a relationship with yourself? So important. To retrain your brain out of the startle response patterns into new connections which soothe and nurture your nervous system. Liz Page has spent much of her life in the fight, flight, freeze space, determined to find her way through in a world that is kind and safe. Her search went far and deep, studying mind mapping, brain gym, applied neuroscience, and finally leading her to the Feldenkrais method, where she was able to bring her lived and learned experience in how to determine real from imagined dangers and how to self-regulate in a terrified nervous system together. She lives and works with her partner in Australia's Sunshine Coast and has helped hundreds of women and some men navigate this strange terrain from the desert to the safety of their own embodied state. Liz has an online program available soon called Pelvic Potency. Welcome, Liz. And you really just highlighted, as I mentioned, like at the moment, there's a lot going on for me behind the scenes. And that's why this work is so important to stay regulated. Would you agree?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, your interest does that. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to set up for this lovely lesson and let you guide us.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction, Angela. That was beautiful. And I'm really excited to be watching you on the screen do the lesson. This particular lesson is called Turning, Twisting, and Lengthening. And It's done in a seated position so we can really get a sense of how our pelvis connects or isn't connected into our skeleton, into our torso, the spine, the ribs. And it enhances our ability for rotation. A little fact before I start, 50% of our rotation, our ability to turn, comes from our thoracic spine, the part of our spine that has ribs attached to it. So as we get older, this mechanism, this turning, this rotation mechanism starts to leave most people. So many of my clients' issues with knees, hip issues, lower back issues come from this lack of ability for rotation, side bending and twisting in this upper body. We end up bracing around here a lot more as we get afraid of falling. So bringing this capacity for rotation back in really helps our nervous system just drop its protections, waiting for danger, being braced and ready. So let's start, Angela. First of all, sense your sit bones. Sense your sit bones on the chair and feel whether one is a little heavier than the other. If you're sitting a little bit more pronounced on one, just get a sense whether one part of your pelvis, one sit bone, feels like it's a little more further forward in the chair than the other one. And take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just sense with that breath whether you can feel any movement down in your pelvis. Is there any rocking that naturally happens? How far do you feel that breath go? Does it reach your ribs? Does it go down into your belly? Okay. Now, as a little beginning check-in, I'd like you to please turn and look over your right shoulder and just make a note how far you go quite naturally without any force. Do it a couple of times and make a note of what you see behind you, where your gaze reaches, and then turn and look the other way. Look over the other shoulder. Once again, just noticing what comes along. Can you feel that through your ribs, through your shoulders, and how far you could actually see? Okay. All right. Now, with your head back in center, looking forward, please bring your head to the left and let your right shoulder come forward as the head turns to the left. Very good. Do that a couple of times, noticing how that changes what you just did in the first instance, where you just took your head over. How far down your body can you feel that? And can you feel this movement reflected down into your pelvis? All right, staying in the center. Beautiful. Now this time, please keep your head facing forward and keep your eyes facing forward and just bring that right shoulder forward and back a few times, please. Just the right shoulder forward and back without taking your head. It's likely to be a smaller movement, and just notice where it goes. Does the movement transfer up into your neck? Does it resonate down into your spine towards the pelvis? Okay, now staying in the center again for a moment, just take a breath here. And now you're going to bring that right shoulder forward again. And this time, keep your head facing forward, but take your eyes over to the left. So you've got your shoulder and eyes going toward the left. Just notice how that differs from when you had your eyes facing forward, if at all. Okay. Take a rest. Just sit naturally. Notice how you feel on one sit bone and the other. Notice if you feel any changes from that little exploration we've done so far. And now take your head, eyes, and over to the left, bringing the right shoulder along with you. And just get a sense if that feels any different from when you did it a moment ago. Okay. Stopping in the center, sensing the right side of your body from your head and neck down to your pelvic basin, and notice if how you're sitting on the right feels any different from the left. We bring awareness to what's happening on one side and the other constantly through these lessons because we're feeding this information of our awareness back up into our nervous system. That's where change actually happens. All right, now let's bring that movement repertoire into the other side. So you're going to take your head over to the right, head and eyes over to the right, and just notice how far down along your spine that movement resonates. Can you feel a twist through your spine? Is there a change in your ribs? Does one side of your rib basket feel like it comes together and the other comes apart a bit, or does it stay fairly straight and neutral? And the next time you're facing forward, bring your shoulder along over to the direction your head is going. And notice the difference that makes along your ribs and spine. Okay. Let's stop in the center. Take a breath. And now please take your shoulder and head over in the same direction, but take your eyes in the opposite direction, please. That's it. Just notice if that movement makes you brace anywhere around your neck or your solar plexus or down in your pelvic floor. Differentiating the eyes from the head movement can often be a discombobulating process for the nervous system. So notice how that affects you. And now the next time you're facing forward, bring everything, head, shoulder, eyes, all over in that same direction. And notice if it feels like you can go any little bit further or if anything's changed. All right. Take a rest. Sit in the center. Just let your skeleton support you. The sit bones with your pelvis sitting there, your spine resting over the top of it and the head resting on that. Bring that sense of skeletal awareness into your consciousness and feel that in this position, your body is supported by the skeleton. Your skeleton is supporting your whole structure and the muscles are there to activate movement and support that uprightness. Okay. We take lots of little rests in this method because the rests are where we really allow our nervous system to pull in, to process, recognize what's changed, what's different from when I last did that movement, from when I last checked in. Okay, now with your hands where you have them around your knees, could you please bring your right knee out away from you and then back? So not out to the side, but towards the camera. So you're bringing it, that's it. So you're just bringing it, and it's kind of taking your arm with it because your arm's sitting on that knee. So you're just bringing that right knee a little bit out and then back. Do that a few times and notice how that feels, not how that feels, what is happening to your pelvis. What's happening to your weight distribution as that right knee comes forward? Is your weight tipping over to your left sit bone or is your weight tipping over to your right sit bone? The other thing to bring awareness to and be curious about is how that movement of that knee coming forward is affecting the torso. Are you feeling a twist from the bottom up through the spine? And if so, how far up can you feel that twist go? Is it reaching up to the shoulder blades? Is it coming up to the neck? Now, if your weight tipped over to the left sit bone, then what you're actually doing is bringing your right knee forward because you're mobilizing, you're making the right side of your pelvis light so it can move back and forward and the left sit bone becomes the pivot. If your weight tipped over to the right sit bone, the one you're actually on the leg you're moving, then what you're actually doing is moving the other knee back and having the impression that the right knee is moving forward. So sometimes our systems just compensate for something that's not already organized neurologically to become physical movement, and we just organize around what we already do know, and we're not doing what we actually think we're doing. So just really bring that awareness. As your right knee comes forward, does your weight go onto the right sit bone? Does it go over to the left sit bone? And it's not wrong if it does one or the other. There's not a wrong or right. The whole object of these exercises, this whole method, is to really, really shine a light on what is actually happening for us when we move. What are we actually doing? What else is happening when we're doing what we do? All right, please take a rest. So now I'd like you to bring that same right knee forward, and this time bring your right shoulder forward with it and turn your head toward the left. So you're bringing your whole self into a little rotation. Feel how that feels through the spine and get a sense of what's happening in the ribs. Are your ribs creating a little bit of a twist? Can you feel a shortening and lengthening, sort of a side bend happen? And check in with your breath. Are you clenching anywhere? Your jaw, your belly, in your hips? Is there anywhere that you're clenching without realizing? Okay, let that go and stop in the center, please. Just sense your right sit bone and your left, how your weight is distributed across your base of support there. And now I'd like you to please bring that right knee forward again and bringing the right shoulder forward. But this time you're going to take your head and eyes to look towards the shoulder that's coming forward. So you're going to look away towards the shoulder coming forward. Your head will go in the opposite direction to your body. Okay, now I taught this in an old people's home, in a nursing home once, and this beautiful woman in her 90s with bright red lipstick said, "Oh, that's the Marilyn Monroe move." So it's become the Marilyn Monroe lesson for me. So you can feel free to pout. Feel free to pout as you bring your head to your beautiful, beautiful. All right. And let that go. And now bring everything, your knee, your shoulder, head and eyes, all in the same direction. So your head is going to go the other way. So your right knee's coming forward, your right shoulder's coming forward, and your head will turn to the left. And notice if that's changed at all. All right. Let's take a rest in the center. Take a breath. Let anything that is wanting to be noticed right now. Is there something that feels like it's changed, as in you feel lighter there, or a little tingly sensation? Is there something that feels a little tight and tense, like it's trying to tell you that you've been working it harder than it wants to work? Just notice the little subtle language of the body and see what it's saying. And now let's move over to the left knee. You're going to bring the left knee forward and back. And once again, let's begin with noticing your weight distribution. Does your weight go onto your left sit bone as your left knee goes forward, or does it transfer over to the right sit bone? Bring your awareness to what happens in your ribs. As the knee comes forward, is there a slight side bending sensation there? And if you would notice which sit bone your weight distribution is going on, and just for the next 2 or 3 moves, see what it would be like, how you'd have to organize the rest of you for the weight to go on the other sit bone. Because we're not looking for a right or wrong way of doing anything here. We're looking to expand the repertoire of possibility of movement. We can do it one way, we can do it another way. Martial artists know this, that one way will give you stability, another way will give you potency and movability. So try both. Notice which one feels natural to you, which one feels weird, and let it go. All right, now let's take that right knee forward and the left knee forward, and you're going to bring your shoulder and your head. Your shoulder, your head and eyes are all going to go. Left knee forward, your head will look towards the right, your eyes go toward the right, and your shoulder is coming along. Feel how that twist is happening through your torso, how that pelvic basin is coming forward and taking the spine along for a ride. Okay, stopping in the center for a moment. And the next time you bring your left knee forward, bring that left shoulder forward as well and take your head to look towards the shoulder. You can be a Marilyn in this direction. Notice if this is different on this side. If this feels easier or harder, is the neck more flexible? Is there more capacity for rotation? Do you hold your breath when you do it this way? Or do you clench in your pelvic floor somewhere or in the jaw? All right, let that go. Take a rest. And now just once or twice, take the left knee forward, the left shoulder forward, and bring your head and eyes to look toward the right. So you're bringing everything along in the same direction. And notice if that's feeling like it's changed at all. You're doing an entire rotation in the same direction. Okay. Take a rest in the middle. Just rock from side to side a little bit on one sit bone and the other. Notice your ribs changing shape in order to achieve that. So there is that possibility that we can rock from side to side like this. And if your head were to stay in position, then feel how you'd need to rock, changing the shape of your spine. And feel that side bend coming in, the ribs changing shape, lengthening on one side, shortening on the other. All right. Now, lastly, I'd like you to sit in the middle, sense your weight on both sit bones, and bring your awareness down to your feet. And are your feet placed symmetrically? Do you feel the same sensation under each foot? Or is one pressed a little more heavily into the floor? Is one a little bit more pressed into the heel and the other one's on the toes or ball of your foot, or the inside or outside? Notice how each foot is relating differently to the floor. And then I'd like you to gently push off the right foot and back again. And as you push off the right foot, push that foot gently into the floor, just notice first of all how that weight transfers up, how that ground force transfers up through your ankle, your knee, into your hip joint. What shift does it make there? Does it tip your weight over to the opposite sit bone? And now starting, you're going to turn your shoulder and head to look toward the left, but start that movement from that foot. So you're going to gently press into the right foot, and as you feel that weight distribution changing as it comes up into your torso, allow that to propel your rotation of your body, your ribs, shoulders, head over to the left. What do you feel happening in the hip? Is there some bracing in the hip where it's pulling back, or is the hip opening and lengthening? What are you sensing in your lower back? Does your lower back arch, or is it lengthening, creating more of a straight line? And what are you doing with your breath? What if you were to inhale as you go into that foot and into that rotation? And then the next time you do it, what would it be like if you exhaled? Does one create a smoother journey? All right, please stop in the middle. And now put your weight onto the other foot. Press in the ground a little bit and release. Just notice how that weight transfers up through the joints of the leg into the pelvis. Can you feel it shifting your weight? Can you feel it changing your spine, your ribs at all? And then as you put weight into your left foot, as you press into the floor, take your head, shoulders, and eyes over to the right and start that movement of rotation from that pressing into the floor position. So let the foot going into the floor start the journey up along your leg, into your body, right up to your head, where it takes you over to the right. Beautiful. Okay. We're just about done. I'm just going to finish off with one last little movement here. Could you please take your shoulders to the right? So this is a little bit tricky one. You can take your shoulders to the right, your head to the left, and your eyes to the right. Okay, so everything is crisscrossing. Do that a couple of times. Notice how it feels through you. Come back to center, and you're going to reverse it. You're going to take your shoulders to the left, your eyes to the right. No, your head to the right and eyes to the left. So you're just going to basically do the opposite with each part. That's good. That's enough of that one. Just a couple of those is enough to just throw any kind of like sticky connections in the brain that are just like, this is the way I do it. Throw them off a little bit so they can experience something new. And now let's just go back to our original movement of looking over your right shoulder and looking over your left shoulder. Notice how much of your body is coming along quite naturally and how much further you can actually see behind you. And that's our lesson for today in a condensed version.
Lovely. Thank you.
My pleasure. How did you find that, Angela? Did you find a difference? Did you experience a difference in that?
Absolutely, yes. So it turned a lot further. It was so interesting. And it pairs well with the lesson we had earlier today. For some reason, every time we have an event or a series of things, they just seem to pair well together. So
that's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing
without us even discussing it, it happens. And on this morning's lesson, we said maybe we need to do a series of sitting lessons. Well, here we are. We've got 2 back to back. So thank you.
My pleasure. And I just want to say that this movement that we've just been exploring is so important in a day-to-day life, like driving and looking over your shoulder to make sure that there's no oncoming cars. I used to get whiplash all the time in my 30s, just kind of like in that stressful driving. It's like just turn your neck without bringing your body along. It's like, oh, and it's just one of the many, many ways that it's super important. And then falls prevention. If you've lost that side bend twist capacity, the ground feels so far away. But when you find that again, coming down to the ground and up again is just easy.
Absolutely. I want to say thank you to those joining us live and hi to the replay viewers. Share in the comments below what that experience was for you. And if you have any requests for lessons, let us know, because we're open to what you want. And the same with our discussions we have in the community. Let us know what you want to hear from us as professionals in this space, what questions you have, what challenges, and we will see if we can provide that for you. Thank you so much, Liz.
Thanks, Angela. Thanks for the opportunity of being here and for the wonderful community you're creating. It's great.
So that was lesson 2 for today for me. And then we have another one I have another one tonight. Straight after my Samba dance class, I'll be coming back and joining. And it's perfect
putting
time.
Some of that rotation in practice.
Yes, I will. I really do need it in Samba. You've got a lot of rotation happening. And it is a perfect time before bed to do a Feldenkrais lesson, a somatics lesson, because then you can sleep and all those wires can recalibrate, which is fantastic, which might be early morning if you're in the USA or UK time zone. But thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Angela. Thanks, everyone.